And then you organize yourself and started again. Yeah? You see yourself as number 1, number 10, number 30, number 100. But once you realize that that trend is not going to give you something, then you must reorganize yourself. It is not a condemnation. Yeah? It is part of life. So we are saying that there are no fixed rules, but evolving journeys, and then embrace the idea that your interests and passions can change over time. And it's okay not to have a map of the entire trip. And that's why we are saying we want you to look at these things one by one. Don't collect everything. Like now, you know, you don't pick everything at the same time. You have to do it systematically. You have to start like you started in class 1. After you are done with class 1, because somewhere along the route here, like now an example will be, you are focusing to be a doctor, isn't it? I'm not saying that is bad. It is okay. But along the way, sometimes you will find that maybe you are not going to excel as a doctor. Then can I probably change to finance? It is not a sin to make such decisions. Fine. So we are saying that it is only a fool who does not accept change. Yes, you may be targeting there. But if you see that there are reasons that may make you not want to be there and opt for another one, don't blame yourself for that. Work on it. Yeah? You can always decide to change. So another way is to reach out professionals in the fields that you are interested in. Try to get close to them. Yeah? Conduct informational interviews to gain a deeper understanding of their careers, their daily lives, and their personalities. This will help you make informed decisions, because here what we want is actually informed decisions. Don't be too forward thinking. It's okay and even healthy to use high school as time for self-discovery. So set realistic expectations, because you know yourself. Yeah? Despite the society often tells us it's perfectly normal not to have your entire career path mapped out in high school. Some of us started this way, but now we found ourselves doing, because we decided to change our career paths. Don't compare yourself to others or succumb to external pressures, and then recognize that the world changes rapidly and the ideal job you imagine today might not even exist. Yes. So treat yourself with kindness and be realistic by focusing on the immediate next step instead of a full career map. And then what is important here is that you must trust yourself if you want to succeed. You must trust yourself. And if you want to trust yourself, then nothing will come from you if you are not doing the right things. So what I'm saying here is that before we do anything, you do anything as a scholar, we are saying that you must first of all focus, but at the same time be prepared to change. So with those few remarks, because of time, I think I should stop there. And I've not finished. I was just going to say that if you don't want to clap for me, I'll clap for myself. Thank you very much. Trevor, if you are around. So my colleague,
We have done previously something to do with mental health. So if you can remember what we say about mental health, what do you think it is? A hand up if you want to try.
Okay, mental health is emotional, psychological, social well-being of a person.
Let's give her a clap. According to the World Health Organization, when we talk of mental health, it's you being in a position to know your ability and potentials, being able to manage your emotion, being able to be productive, and being able to give back to the community. Because if I'm well, I'll be able to know my ability, I will exploit that ability, and then I'm going to be fruitful and productive, and at the end of the day, I'm going to impact the society. So we always look at about your emotional well-being, your psychological well-being is all has to do with your mental health. Remember, it doesn't mean because I have mental health, I may not be having an illness. I may be having a physical illness, but I am mentally okay. So it doesn't mean that you don't have another form of illness, but you have that ability to be fruitful. You have ability to understand what is happening around you, exploit your potential and your abilities, and at the end of the day, you are able to be productive. So what is causing mental health problems among adolescents or among us as youths? When you're interacting with your friends, I'm sure you have seen people who are suffering from mental health, your friends in school, your peers at home. It is very common right now. What is causing these issues with mental health among ourselves? There's a hand up on that side.
Maybe when the adolescent is rejected and stigmatized.
Rejection and stigmatization. Another guess?
Drugs.
Drugs and substance use. Yes.
Inability to overcome negative peer pressure.
Inability to overcome negative peer pressure. What is causing us to have mental health problems as adolescents and youths?
Heartbreak.
When we go through heartbreaks and we don't overcome, yes, we can end up in mental health problems. Very, very true. If you don't with those emotions that come after a heartbreak, chances are you will end up having mental health problems.
Social isolation.
Social isolation.
Family issues.
Family issues, true. Last one. So, I can see so many hands up, but to sum it up all, when we are talking about the causes of mental health among adolescents, some of the things that are causing us is the challenges we are going through back at home, the traumas we are going through. Maybe our parents are divorced, our parents are separated, our parents are fighting every other day. That predisposes me to mental health problems. The stresses I'm going through maybe in school, maybe I have too much pressure with my academics and to perform. That is also a thing that can give us a problem with mental health. There's also predisposition. Maybe there are people in the family who have had mental health problems. You might find that it will tend maybe to recur around the same. And other things that are likely to cause is when we go through losses. It could be losses of families, losses of our loved ones. If we don't deal with those losses, we might end up having mental health problems. When we are socially withdrawn, if we are not able to make friendships, if we are not able to integrate with others, we end up being isolated. And at the end of the day, you can have mental health problems. So these problems are very, very common. So if we are going to take I'm going to give it back. If you're having a person you know, or you need support in terms of mental health, we are readily available for support.
get the opportunity to climb up upwards. You break for tea or 20 minutes strictly.
Let's bow down and pray. Our kind and everlasting Father, we come before you this morning, thanking you for the gift of life, Jehovah Jireh. As we want to break for our break, Jehovah Lord, may you bless in the mighty name of Jesus Christ, we pray and believe.
Excuse, tunatoka na east side. Tunatoka na east side. Kindly hurry up. Hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. The 2023 Annual Education and Leadership Congress held at Family House in Nairobi. Speaking to the students born from Nairobi and its environs, Equity Group Foundation Executive Chairman Dr. James Mwangi emphasized on the importance of building character to enhance chances of becoming leaders. Leadership skills require self-awareness. It's important consciousness. You can't shape the reaction of your audience unless you are conscious and aware of your audience. Every word that comes out of your mouth creates a reaction in thought process and judgment. Referring to the theme of the Congress, the power of purpose, aligning values and leadership, Dr. Mwangi said one cannot be a leader without followers, but to have followers, one must be aligned to the right values. We came from. We are not judged by how much we have. We are judged by the values and the characters that we reflect. Dr. Mwangi is the Equity Group Managing Director and CEO. Asked the scholars to individually pick values that shape their character, and to include trust and integrity, which shows there is no gap between what one says and does. When you say, I want to be responsible, you are saying, I'm in charge of my destiny. When you say, I want to be accountable, you are saying, I want to be held to accountability. One of the best things you can ever have, because you do the right things when nobody is watching. The scholars were reminded to embrace diversity so as to become the transformative change leaders that Africa deserves. Our strength is not in uniformity. Our strength is in diversity. And that is what leadership is all about, embracing the future of diversity. Remember, we complete each other. Presenting a speech read
Chaperones, kindly coordinate the sitting arrangement of the scholars. Chaperones. Chaperones, kindly coordinate. Once you check in, kindly remove all the sweaters. Naomba. Utoe sweater, kindly. Ukifika, tafuta kiti uketi chini.
Yes, sir. Gazeti pale. Ziko pale. Mwapatie, unajua tunataka kupiga hizo picha. Watu wa mbele ama kila wanaweza distribute tu, bora kuwe na magazeti kila mahali. Not especially sawa part that pia wapewe. Sawa. Okay, chief.
Kindly all the chaperones coordinate the sitting arrangement of the scholars, and I need a group of 10 chaperones. Ladies and gentlemen, Form 3s and Form 4 scholars, allow me to remind you that this meeting is streamed online, and you can see we have been joined by the Equity Media, and therefore, even those in head office are streaming this, both in Alpha Lenses and Equity page. I'll remind you once again to maintain minimal silence, because I'm sure that the CEO, even Dr. James Mwangi, is following the progress of this Congress.
There's at least 40.
Ladies and gentlemen, kindly maintain silence. Our guests are checking in. In the just few minutes, they shall have arrived. Ladies and gentlemen, Form 3s and Form 4 scholars, I shall therefore request all of us to be upstanding as we clap. Kindly, let's be upstanding as we clap for the arrival of our guest.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you, scholars. Thank you very much. As we are standing, we are starting our program officially. So before we start, we do national anthem, East African, then Equity anthem. Thank you. Prayers. One scholar. Evans.
We shall remain upstanding as we pray. My Lord and my Father, thank you for this day that you granted unto us. The success of this day, my Lord and my Father, is what we pray for. And as our guests have joined us, Father, we pray that you have granted them safe journey mercies. I pray, Father, that as they will be going back, Father, you also grant them safe journey mercies and continue to bless Equity Bank and the other donors. In Jesus Christ, I pray and believe. May the grace,
Thank you. Let's take a seat. Let's take our seats. Thank you very much. To our chief guest, Michael Adwera, Director of Education, CDE, Kisumu County, Madam Rosemary Birenge, Deputy Director from MILAC Department, that is from Head Office Department, Calvins, welcome. Our Director, Madam Silpo Wich, Youth and Women. Our General Manager, Equity Bank, that's in Nyanza and Western, George Onyino. Branch managers who are here. The chaperones and scholars. Good morning. Yeah, let me welcome you this 15th annual Congress. We started here yesterday, and I think we're doing very well so far. And before we proceed, I just want to welcome Patrick Mboya to welcome us officially this school so that we'll proceed with the next program. Karibu sana, Bwana Patrick. Thank you.
Also, our very, very distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Mine is to welcome you to Maseno School, and to our dear scholars, I want to just reiterate what I said yesterday. You've been offered a very, very golden opportunity, and as I said, opportunities are rare. Opportunities are attractive. Opportunities are timely, and opportunities always seek to add value to you. I want you to take this opportunity very, very seriously so that by the end of it, we have a better child for a greater tomorrow. Thank you so much. Feel welcome and God bless you.
Thank you very much. At least now we are been given official go-ahead to continue with the function. Remember, they're the host, Maseno School. So at this particular juncture, because of time, I would like to welcome Madam Rosemary Birenge. She has got a very, very tight schedule somewhere, which she has made as a special request. We allow her to say a word before we listen, because there's another function which is also starting at exactly 10. So she can be able to say her remarks as we proceed to the next program. Karibu sana. Madam Rosemary is the CDE Kisumu County. And at this particular juncture, this is an educational program. Thank you.
God is good. And all the time. Thank you very much to all our very distinguished guests, our scholars, and all other guests invited. Good morning. Good morning once again. I'm very excited to be with you. As you've been told, I'm called Rosemary Birenge, the County Director of Education, Kisumu County. How many people come from Kisumu? How many scholars come from Kisumu? Wow, almost everybody from Kisumu County. Other areas, other counties? Thank you so much. Feel most welcome. Here we are glad to have all of you here. We, first of all, want to thank Equity, Wings to Fly, for having thought of this very invaluable program to help our children. We also want to thank all the other donors, the government of Kenya, the World Bank, and all other people that are involved in this very, very invaluable program to see that our children are given a future. Can we clap for Equity and all the others? Thank you. I also want to thank you for having allowed yourself to take that opportunity and enjoy the privilege of being one of the scholars. Clap for yourselves also. Thank you so much. We are dealing today with Form 3s and Form 4s. And Form 3s and Form 4s, you are almost at the end of your basic education, that is Form 4. And you can remember that you have been growing. From the time you were conceived in your mother's womb, you have been growing. You grew up to a toddler, to a teen. Most of you are still teenagers. And you have grown physically, chronologically. And you are here now. You were taken to school. And you know that you have not just been taken to school to grow physically. We are saying that you've been taken to school to grow. You need to grow to success and to fulfill your potential, to achieve your goals and your dreams. And so you need that growth also. So how do you grow holistically? How do you grow wholesomely to success? We are saying that growth does not just happen. This other type of growth, physically you'll grow, whether you like it or not. You will be 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You learn how to sit. You learn how to run and things like that. That is chronological physical growth. That is automatic. But this other development, wholesomely, growth emotionally, growth psychologically, growth spiritually, and growth academically, that one does not just happen. So I'm saying that things and success and growth does not just happen. It must be made to happen. Somebody, somewhere, and most importantly, you yourself must be part of that growth. You cannot change your life until you change something you do every day. For example, you want to grow, you have been academically, you have been waking up at maybe 6 in the morning. And you were telling yourself that you want to improve your academic performance. You must change. You must do it differently. You must change the time you wake up. You have been sleeping possibly at 10, and you want to succeed in your life, in your various aspects of life. You must change the way you do your things. So growth or success is unique as you are. It is unique to each individual. You join school the same day. Possibly you have the same mark, you got the same grade at O level, at grade 8. You have sat in the same class. You are taught by the same teachers. But the type of development you go through will be unique to you as an individual. We have identical twins. They are similar in every aspect, almost in their thoughts also. But the type of development and growth and success is unique to each one of them. And so you need to discover your purpose. You need to grow to self-awareness, which is also unique to each individual. Your self-awareness. If you want to grow, can you first of all be aware of yourself, your inner thoughts, your inner needs, your aspirations, and your inspirations as an individual? Do something about that. So to become a better human being, to become a better student, to become a successful person, because we have taken you to school not just to grow and leave you there. We also want you to become leaders. We want you to succeed in your lives. And therefore we are saying that to become a better human being, you need to grow in character. Character is very important. You may have gotten very flying colors, good qualifications in your trainings and in whatever areas you have been. But if you do not have a character, then you will lose it all. If your character is doubtful, then you may not succeed in your future. You may not become the type of a leader that we are training you to become. And so character is very important. You must grow in your character. To advance in your career, you need to grow in your skills. To advance in your career as you grow up, you also need to improve in your skills. And to be a better spouse, a better parent, a better friend, you need to grow in your relationships. So we want you to grow holistically, wholesomely. To reach your financial goals, you need to grow in your knowledge about how money works. And therefore, there are different ways you need to grow. To enrich your soul, you need to grow spiritually so that you become a round person. Growth not just chronologically, physically, but growth in all facets of life so that you become a successful person in future. So for you to grow, you must put in some work to enable you reach your potential. As I said earlier, things do not just happen. Things do not just come on a silver platter. The era of manna are very rare these days. And therefore, for you to succeed, you must put in something. You must work hard. You must change the way you do things every day and acquire new strategies that will enable you proceed. And therefore, I'm going to talk about the law of intentionality. There are several laws that will help you grow. Today, I just want to look briefly at the law of intentionality, that you must have an intent. You must purpose to do something. Things do not just happen. You must purpose. If you want to get an A, you must purpose to get that A for you to get it. If you want to become a doctor, you must purpose to become a doctor as early as this. If you want to become a banker, you must purpose to become a banker as early as this. It's not even late. From 3 and 4, this is the time now that you are preparing your mind, yourself, about what you really want to become in life. When you join Form 1, you know, there is a form that we give you in schools and we ask you, what would you like to be? Some of you give us a very high sounding professions that some of us do not even know. And maybe you have just read them you don't know what they really are. But at Form 3 and 4, you have actualized really what you really need to do. And therefore, you must have an intent to achieve what you do. So therefore, for you to grow, you're saying you must put in some work to enable you reach your potential. A few gaps are there to hinder our growth, but we are looking at the law of intent. What could hinder our intentions? There are few gaps that I want to talk about briefly. The growth gap traps. If you have a dream or goal or aspiration, you need to grow to achieve them. But if you are like, when I was in primary, I was good in this, and therefore there's no need, you know, like if you are like, most people don't do well in this subject, so that I don't need to do it, you see. So that is a gap that a trap that you need to forget about. You must intend, you have an intent. And therefore, you have one of the most mistaken beliefs that create a gap that keeps you from growing and reaching your potential. Don't look back. When I was in this, things used to happen this way. When I was young, this is how things used to happen. And therefore, it hinders you from your growth and achieving your potential. Some misconceptions about growth that may hold you back, the assumption gap. We all assume that you will automatically grow, that you'll automatically succeed. Yeah, we say, in our family, we have always succeeded, and therefore I will also succeed. In our family, we have always done it this way, and therefore you will automatically do it the way. It does not work that way. So you will not grow automatically. You must work towards your growth. And therefore, at this time, at Form 3 and 4, a time must come when you need to stop waiting for the person that you want to become and start being the person that you actually want to become. That if you want to become a doctor, a lawyer, whatever, this is the time to begin working towards that direction. If you want to become a nurse, a counselor, or any other job you need, this is the time you need to begin working towards getting that, what you need to become. It will not just come automatically. You must have put in some intent and work for it. No one improves by accident. You will not improve by accident. Personal growth or success doesn't just happen on its own. You don't get things on silver platter. You must work for them. You must work towards achieving what you really want in life. And this is the time. From 3 and 4, this is the time. You must work for what you need. Once you are done with your formal education, once you have completed your formal education, you must take complete ownership of the growth process. After the formal education, you will go out. We want to thank Equity. They also place you and give you further direction. But for the Elimu Scholarship graduates, after Form 4, after the formal education, then you need to take responsibility, to take charge of your future. And this is the time. Don't wait until that time. Take complete ownership of your growth process. You will not just sit there and expect that things will happen automatically. colleges to attend, because I am sure I took time also to go to homes when we were selecting in fact, most of us, we are the eye openers of where we come from. And so after Form 4, you will not just sit. Get something to be doing. So you take responsibility, take charge of your progress and of your growth. Because nobody else will do it for you. And as Michael D. Montaigne observed, no wind favors him who has no destined pot. No wind favors him who has no destined pot. If you want your life to improve, you must improve yourself. You must make that a tangible target. You must focus to achieve and realize that target. And so when you make it a target, when you make it a tangible target, you around you will see that this person has some assistance and they will be able to help you. But if you just sat in the house, nobody will know your needs. The second gap is the knowledge gap. The knowledge gap. Do you have a growth plan? Do you have a growth plan? At Form 3 and Form 4, you should already be thinking about your future development, your future success, your future growth. And so you should be having a plan. You should be saying that when I finish Form 4, this is what I really want to do, and this is how I will go about it. Don't wait for experience to teach you a lesson, because sometimes experience is a good teacher, but it gives us hard lessons. So don't wait for that experience. It's much better to plan your growth intentionally. You decide where you want to grow. Where you need or you want to grow. You decide early in life, so that as you grow up progressively, you are working on your success and growth process. You choose what you will learn. You follow through with discipline, going at the pace that you set, because you have already chosen the line, and therefore you follow it with a lot of discipline, at your pace, that will enable you succeed. Loretta Astaples says, if you are clear with what you want, the world responds with clarity. If you are clear about what you really want in life, the world will respond with clarity. And even the angel also will come down to support you, because you know what you want. And if you are asked what you want, don't just say anything. What will you do? Don't say anything. Anything is nothing. So be clear, have clarity about what you really want in life, and so that you work towards growing what you really want in life. The third, the timing gap. Most of us feel it's not the right time to begin. In Form 3 and 4, you'd say, maybe I still have 2 more years. I still have 1 more years. It's not yet the right time to begin to develop, to invest in my growth, in my personal growth. There is a difference between deciding and doing. So just don't remain at decision making. Don't remain at the decision making. Begin. Once you have made a decision, take off, begin and do what you have decided. Most people don't act as quickly as they should on things, because they will say, I'm thinking I should do this. So you keep on remaining at that thinking level for a long time. The law of diminishing intent says that the longer you wait to do something you should do now, the greater the odds that you will never actually do it. So because you will keep just thinking about it, telling your friends, you know, I'm thinking of reading well so that I get an A, but you are remaining at the thinking level. So don't remain at that time. Begin and do it. Think about it and do it quickly. The fourth one is the mistake gap. We are all afraid to make mistakes. I'm afraid of making mistakes. Growth or success requires making mistakes. Nobody has ever succeeded without making mistakes. And in any case, before you try, you will not know what lies beyond. And therefore, don't have that fear of making a mistake. You must begin, you must try it, make a mistake, and we learn through our mistakes. Try to do things beyond your capability. And making a mistake is simply another way of doing things. A mistake is simply another way of doing something. So don't fear it. Just do what you have decided to do, what your aims are, follow them with a passion. The fifth, the perfection gap. The perfection gap, most of us are perfectionists, and therefore we stand back. I don't want to attempt because I'm sure I'll not do it as perfectly as it should be done. And therefore you sit back. And the more you sit back, the more you lose. So I have to find the best way before I start. That is what we most of us say. I must find the best way before I start. But that will make you lag behind. So you must get started if you want to get the best way. Because that best way that you are waiting for will not simply just come also. You must get started. You must get started before that best way comes. The sixth one, the inspiration gap. The inspiration gap. Most time we wake up in the morning and you say, today I just don't feel like going to class. Up your hand. You fear that, oh, my colleague is better than me and therefore I will be embarrassed. No, don't feel intimidated. Wherever you are, I know most of you, some of you are in all of you are in very good schools with a few differences here and there. Wherever you are, stand high in your class because you deserve to be where you are. And therefore, do not feel intimidated. Do not feel intimidated. Feel encouraged. Feel encouraged and participate fully. The more you participate, the more you will feel that you are even good, better. You are as good as any other child in that class. That even you are even better than those other ones. And so do not feel intimidated. Share ideas, and in sharing, you will learn. You can learn only if others are ahead of you. In the event that you fear that you are feeling low, yes, that is an opportunity that you share your ideas also. You listen to the ideas of other people. And so as you share, you will learn. We learn from people who are better than us. And therefore, we should not feel intimidated. Lastly, the expectation gap. You'll say, I thought maybe you have made up your mind you want to become a pilot, a doctor or something, and then at one time along the way you feel, maybe I thought it was an easier thing, but now I find it is becoming difficult. No. Everything you do, you must put in your best. You cannot change your destination overnight, but you can change your direction overnight. And therefore, to get to your destination, you need time. And so persevere. Perseverance is very important. Persistence. Whatever you think is difficult will be very easy with persistence, with continued persistence and continued practice. And so we have given you this opportunity, and we are saying that to whomever much has been given, much shall be required. So give growing your best so that you can become your best. And we have given you much. So give everything, give your best to everything that you do so that you become your best. Whatever you need to do, give it a sense of urgency. You must do it now. Don't let it, don't say that I'll do it tomorrow. Give it everything a sense of urgency. If you need to do an assignment, do it now and now. If you want to begin anything new, do it now and now. Give it everything you do a sense of emergency. And we are saying that as we are training you, as you are being trained, also remember that you need to train for the world of tomorrow. Things are changing. Things are changing. And therefore, you focus for the world of tomorrow. Read widely. There are many things that are happening, and we are now going technology. The other day, I was listening to a clip by Senator Kajwang. He was also talking to some students, and he was telling them that in future, we shall not have telephones. We shall not have mobile phones. We shall not have iPads. We shall not have iPhones. And therefore, because scientists have developed chips that can be implanted into human bodies to perform the functions of phones. And therefore, if you are thinking that you'll become a phone repairer, you must change now. Yes, because in future, in the very future, near future or later future, in the event that we don't have phones, those people will be redundant. We shall not have shops selling phone accessories. And therefore, if you saw maybe a friend has done so well in selling those things, and you feel you also want to become that, change your mind, because we are going towards technology. You will not have a job. We are trending towards courses in artificial intelligence. And therefore, you need to become innovators. You need to become innovators. And I also saw something on social media about, there was a radical proposal of Kenya adopting the digital ID, that at birth, the child, a chip will be implanted into the body of a child. And therefore, that will become the identity, will provide the identity of the child, of the human being. That is in the future, or even soon. And so we shall not have these people who work in ID offices, birth certificates, the production of birth certificates, because it will be a digital identity card, and you shall have digital birth certificates. So we are going digital. And again, we are in the era of the emergence of robots. I hear that in Dubai, when you are in Dubai, in hotels, you are served by robots. In big airports, you are attended to by robots. Yeah. So we are saying that do not train to be a hotelier. Of course, at the moment, we still need them. But in future, where we shall be working with robots in hotels, in airports. And therefore, so we are saying, go for courses in robotics. Robotics. That is the in thing now. So make innovations of different robots, the different tasks that robots can perform, so that you look for a need. You look for a need and you prepare something to solve that need in society. You think of a need in society and come up with an innovation that would solve that need. That is the way we are going. So we need scientists, we need researchers, we need innovators as we go into the world of technology. I don't know if this is right, that in future there will be no money. I don't know if it's right. That in future, there will be no paper currency. There will be no paper currency. We are trending towards cryptocurrency. And therefore, we shall have digital money. So when we have digital money, that will reduce. We shall be more secure. We shall not have thugs to steal our money. So we shall be safer. But also think in terms of job creation. Yeah. Possibly we may have fewer bankers. I'm not sure, but I'm not praying towards that, because we need the bankers. We need our children to grow, to proceed. So therefore, as I conclude, I'm saying that we need researchers, we need innovators, and we need thinkers among you people. We need researchers, we need thinkers, and we need innovators, so that as we go into the 22nd century, yeah, possibly people will not be living on Earth, they'll be living on Mars. And therefore you have to find out and therefore in your innovations, you have to find out the needs of the people on Mars. What will people require? So that you begin working towards that to become relevant. Thank you very much. I once again want to thank all of you for having come, and may God bless all of us. Thank you very much.
A big round of applause, a big round of applause. A big one, a big one, a big one, a big one for Madam Rosemary Berenge. Thank you so much, Madam Rosemary. Those are quite encouraging words you have given us this morning. And we really appreciate your coming, because every time we call upon your office, you already oblige and able to come. And I know with your busy schedule and how tight it was, actually you are here very early. So we really appreciate your coming. and our best wishes. So our chief guests, before I call our GM to the next program, before you here, we have 1,690 scholars who are Form 3 and Form 4. And this program is running across the country. And across the country, on 18 regions, totaling to 23,101. That is going on. So it encompasses the Weeks to Fly and the Limo scholars. So before I call our GM for the next program, we want to just by show of hands to see the scholars before you, chief guest. Huh? We have scholars from Kisumu County. By show of hands, can we see your hands? Kisumu County. Yeah, they are a quarter of the congregation. The Sierra County, before you. Sierra County, by show of hands, such that the chief guest could see you. Thank you very much. We also have Vihiga County. Vihiga. Wow, thank you very much. We also have Nandi County. Thank you very much. And finally, Kericho County. Wow. Quite also a big number. Yeah, so we really appreciate you very much, Madam Rosemary. You have seen all our scholars, they've been here for the last 2.5 days. And they have really appreciated you for coming. So when we knock your office again, we shall appreciate for your attendance and the support you're giving us as Equity Bank. So allow me to call our general manager. Allow me to introduce our general manager, Jojo Nino. Jojo Nino is our general manager, Nyanza and Western, covering 29 branches. He's here with us today with his busy schedule. And to me, he's quite happy to host him.
And the VIP hotels, Mr. Michael Adwera, Equity Bank's Deputy Managing Director for ELAC, the insurance arm, Calvin's Onduru, standing on the protocol that has been observed already, distinguished guests, partners, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. God is good. And all the time. Great. Allow me to start by introducing my colleagues. I would request the branch managers present to come forward for a quick introduction. I will give them an opportunity to introduce themselves. They represent the counties that have been mentioned, and let's hear from them. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you so much, our chief guest, and all who are here for this occasion. It's a great privilege and pleasure to be here. I want to believe that we have learned one or two things. Anytime we gather, then we are gathering to find a solutions for the many things that we are doing. It's a great honor once again that you find a friend from different institutions that can help you work together. It is a time that you can leave the bad friends and get the new friends. With that mark, my name is Michael Okanda. I'm representing Siaya, Team Siaya. Good morning once again. Thank you.
Good morning. God is good. Alice Ouma is my name. I know I've been with you here since we began. That is on 23rd. Sindio? And we thank God we are coming to an end today. I'm representing Kisumu County, Kisumu Angawa branch, but Kisumu County because we are always together. Sawa sawa. So remember what we said, we are accountable for everything we do. And when the journey ends, numbers are measured. Sindio? And our results will be measured. So in this journey, we are working together to account for everything we do. We say no to me, and we say no, thanks. Sawa? You remember those words. So hold on to that, but we know in the end of it all, we'll walk this journey together, and we will have the results that we expect in that end. Sawa sawa? Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Good morning. My name is Jen Ogutu from Bale branch, that is Vihiga County. Team Vihiga, can you wave? There are a number of us. I want to echo what one of the speakers yesterday said. And let me say that we are here as scholars. But when index numbers are called, will there be an index number for scholar? When you sit the exam, will you sit the exam as a scholar? With the one index number for the scholars. So take the best of what we are learning from here today. You only have a few, for Form 4s, you still have a few months that you can make a difference in your life. For Form 3, you have almost a year and a half. You can still be able to change and make a big difference and change your situation. So take the best out of it, and as you leave here, let your results speak for it. Let your results speak that in the 4 years you're in the program, you learned something from the congresses we had, and they made you to be a better person, and the results can show for it. Thank you.
Our chief guest, my friend Adwera, Director Mama, and our team leader and scholars. Good morning. Good morning. Team Vihiga, how are you? Good. My name is Vincent Wesonga, branch manager for Luanda branch. And today I'm excited to be here again. You have been with us since 23rd. My word to you is that this is the moment God has given you an opportunity to make a rightful decision. You can become whoever you want to become during this moment you are at school. Yes? Are we together? This is the step you take. And when you take the rightful step, the doors will be open for you. Anywhere, everywhere in the world. Thank you very much.
To our chief guest, our directors from head office, our GM and scholars. Once again, my name is Javan Odera. Javan Odera is the branch manager that is Kisumu. There are three branches in Kisumu, so mine is Oginga Odinga Street branch. So as we have been here with you for the last 2.5 days, we already discussed a lot, scholars, and we agreed that the moment we leave here tomorrow will be like eagles. Eagles fly at high altitude where other birds are not able to fly, so that they are also able to see far, 5 kilometers away. They are not eating dead food. They eat fresh ones. That's what we agreed yesterday. So as we've already been going through this particular program, by the time we leave, we'll be able to be like eagles. And we agreed that wings to fly, if you see that wing, is an eagle. So by the time we leave here, we'll be eagles and flying high. Otherwise, thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you very much. Those are our team leaders as they walk back to their seats. I would also want to celebrate and appreciate my other colleagues who I'll be requesting to rise up. All the other Equity Bank staff present, please rise up and wave to the congregation. A round of applause as they do that. Thank you. I ask you to celebrate them because for their commitment to this cause. For us at Equity Bank, this function is much more than an assignment. It is a calling. As bankers, naturally, we have a lot of assignments that we do. But one assignment that we are consistently proud of is this particular one, because of the impact that it creates, and also because how aligned it is to our mission and vision of transforming lives and livelihoods. I also want to recognize and appreciate our chaperones. If they could be in, please rise up and wave. Chaperones, thank you for the wonderful job you do. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to tell you something that is very close to our hearts at Equity Bank. One, we believe so strongly in doing good consistently so that we can do well sustainably. For the scholars, if you could repeat that after me, would be great. Doing good consistently to do well sustainably. For us, then, it means we partner in the education sector, like what we are doing here today. We do good in the health sector. We do good in energy, entrepreneurship, agriculture, among many other things that we do. And in turn, God has granted us favor to do well sustainably as an institution. That is why Equity Bank now is the leading bank, not only in Kenya, but in East and Central Africa. The message that would be important to you is you can also do good consistently. You can work hard consistently, be disciplined consistently, follow the teacher's instructions consistently, be religious consistently, and all the other good things that you have been taught during this mentorship program. And if you do that then consistently, you will be able to do well sustainably. So we look forward to seeing you do well sustainably. We look forward to many of you joining us as our colleagues in the ELP program. We look forward to consulting you in a few short years as medical doctors for our health needs. Many of you would be engineers for our construction requirements, and to as many opportunities that God will open to you. We pray that you'll be able to be successful sustainably, not only once, but throughout your lives. So it gives us a lot of pleasure, and it's for that reason, for this station and all the other stations across the country today, we are very, very excited to have you, walk with you, and look forward to the future that looks so bright for us. I'll finish by telling you a small story. Slightly over this field, I studied in the classrooms right on our right. Our teachers lived down here. It humbles me to come back and just reflect on that journey. How truly God has been faithful. We would walk around with plastic plates and plastic mugs and eat what was famous then, uji and nyoyo. Must have done a great job on my body. So that journey is exciting. I want to wish you the same. May you all look back after a few short years to your journeys and continue to thank God for what He will have done to you. But remember, please do good consistently. Please do what? Do good consistently. May God bless you today. It was not our day. I have a team of leaders who I'll be introducing in the next round of speeches, who have exciting words of wisdom, encouragement for you. So without much ado, allow me to invite our next speaker, who is the Deputy Managing Director of Equity Life Assurance Kenya, Mr. Calvin Onduru. Karibu.
Thank you, Thank you very much. Our most distinguished chief guest, a director, our GM, our colleagues from the bank and within the group, scholars, good morning. Good morning once again. I'm most privileged to be here to then speak with you this morning, and mine would be very short and simple. As we gather here and I look at all of you, I see eyes of anticipation. I see hard work. I see people who have toiled and have rightfully achieved what they need to achieve, but that is not enough. As I was seated and just reflecting, I thought about these wings to fly. And it got me thinking, scholars, you have been given the wings to fly. But the biggest question you need to ask yourself, even as you go write your exams, sit through, prepare, where do you want to fly to? And where is this flight leading you to? And indeed, some of you will make the choice, you will take the choice to fly into disillusionment. Some of you will decide to fly into success and to soar high. Some of you will even decide that you want to take the flight to self-destruction. What choice do you make and where do you want to fly to? And what is it that you're doing about it? Are you ready to grab, feel most privileged, and to grab these opportunities that are being granted by Equity Bank with the leaders and partners that we work with to share with you this very privileged moment and opportunities to then get the best out of this program. With you today and every day, as has been, as you've said, are people who you are looking up to, who are here to mentor you, to speak. There have been various speakers telling you, what to do. Why don't you take that opportunity and just decide that this is my moment, I want to grab it and I want to walk bullishly and I want to be the person I want to be and nothing is gonna stop me. You have been told here, and even as you get education in itself is not enough. You need to keep learning. And long after you are gone doing all these things, what are the learnings that you will carry with you? You had very exciting moments that, a lot of the things that and the jobs that we think that we're aspiring to do shall be done by, machines and robots. So what does that mean? What is the in thing that will remain in you when you cannot do some of the things that you try, to either educate yourselves on and to learn? And the challenge, therefore, is that take every moment as it comes. If you get to do your exams and you do not get the required grades, please do not commit suicide. Some of you are known to be very depressed. So as you get to learn, as you scale the heights of success, please, sometimes the grades are also not necessarily the end of the world. There's many things to do. There's a lot of encouragement. The world has a space and a place for all of us. But do your best. Get the right company. Do not sit with people who tell you that, life is for the living. And so when others are toiling, you're very busy on TikTok. And what are the other things that you watch? These are the things that, we want to see on social media and compete. Get yourself on the path to dedication. And mine then is to finally wish you all the very best as you take this journey and as you fly. And my prayer and sincere hope is that all of you here have the wings to take the flight. And as you saw, it is flight to success. If there's a destination called success, then let it be the upper success that is unimaginable. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.
Asante. Thank you very much, Deputy MD ILAC, Calvin Onduru. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's my honor to invite our chief guest. I would make a small introduction of our chief guest today. Our chief guest is a captain of the industry, the CEO of Inuka Hospitals, the CEO of VIP Hotels, an established leader in business, corporate leader, an established entrepreneur, a friend and partner of Equity Bank. Kindly join me in my privileged and honored position to invite our chief guest, Michael Adwere. Karibu.
Well. Mr. George, my friend, I just, it makes it very difficult for me to have a starting point because the introduction can be a bit misleading. Captain of the industry, I'm wondering, is it me or somebody else? Or the person sitting next to me or somebody else? But allow me, this morning, ladies and gentlemen, the leadership of Equity Bank that are represented here, with all the directors are sitting down on the GM, all the staff of Equity Bank, and our able scholars that have this great and very unique opportunity to be here this morning. Good morning. Good morning once more. I want to take this opportunity to really thank Equity Bank, because as George has just stipulated, Equity Bank is not just a bank that I come to know. Actually, we were sitting down at the tent and he made a mistake by saying, great friend. And I said, no, I'm a family member. I am not a great friend of Equity Bank. I am a family member of Equity Bank. Unless I'm being thrown out of the family today, I need to know. So thank you very much, family in Equity Bank, for really giving me this opportunity to come today and share with the scholars this morning just a bit of my story, and hopefully that by sharing my story, it will be inspirational to the scholars as they go through this particular journey. And I want to thank Equity Bank specifically. And I will really relate that to my story, and you'll understand why I'm thanking Equity Bank for giving you this opportunity, not giving me this opportunity now, but for giving the scholars this opportunity. I mean, sitting down there, and I've always keenly followed really right from the days, old days when Equity Bank really started this particular program, Wings to Fly, and they kept on working even in my village to pick really well-deserving cases of students that had really performed very well in education, but did not have the opportunity to really continue, given the family circumstances, etc. And as they meticulously walk through the villages and the communities and pick, the young ones, I always say, I wish everybody in this country, in this world, had this unique opportunity at life. Because it's a chance that many are wishing they had, but they never had it. So please clap for yourselves that you really had this unique opportunity. Now, I want to speak to you this morning, and I have not been told how many minutes I have to speak, but I want to speak to you from the bottom of my heart. Because, interestingly, you are living in a very difficult world. You are living at a very difficult time. So to be a youngster with an opportunity at this particular moment in life, you both privileged, but you have immense challenge ahead of you. to be able to make it. So nobody should lie to you that the journey ahead of you is going to be very easy, that you're going to enjoy the journey, that at the end of it all, you are going to emerge the next, say, the CEO and, founder of Equity Bank, yeah, Dr. James. It doesn't work that way. It's not that easy that just because you have an opportunity, you will be able to walk through that journey and become one of the most successful people. But it's also not conversely true that because you have the opportunity and the circumstances are very difficult, that you're going to end up being a failure. No. So here lies the fact that you have a choice. And that's why when I saw the theme for this particular session, that I'm told there are 1,600 of you in this hall, okay, that have gone through mentorship program for these few days, and that the same program is happening across the country, covering almost 23,000 scholars, it's really heartwarming. Because just imagine, it's like asking somebody who does not know you and saying, you know what, we're 23,000 of us that have made it through school in terms of the grades that we needed to acquire in primary school, and we're looking for an opportunity for a parent, so to speak, to take us in and give us that opportunity to further our dreams. And somebody comes in and say, hey, come into my house. 23,000 of you. How easy is it to do? How easy is it to do? Is it easy? Is it easy? You live in the community, right? Even getting the meal from your neighbor and saying, you know what, today we didn't have a meal, yeah, on the table. Please, can I come to your house and share your meal tonight? How many neighbors will open the door and say, you come in. There's lots of meals to share. Do we have that kind of people? Are they really massively available everywhere? They are not. So please, the first thing that you should never take for granted is the opportunity that you have gotten. But what is also more important and interesting is that you gave yourself a chance to be able to get that opportunity. Isn't it? Because they were not choosing everybody. Were they choosing everybody that was disadvantaged in the community? Were they? The first thing they were asking that you are disadvantaged, but you must have given yourself a chance by doing what? Doing well in school. Correct? Is that correct? So I want the scholars to all stand for 1 second. Stand. Just stand up. Now look at your neighbor on the right, look at your neighbor on the left, look at your neighbor behind you or in front of you and say, we are the lucky few. We are the lucky few. And no matter what happens, we will never disappoint. We will ensure that we make our parents, our communities, and Equity and its partners forever grateful for this choice that they have made to believe in us. So help me God. Please sit down. Okay, maybe I should be a pastor. I was just warming up for the sermon. Now, I said I want to just speak to you from the bottom of my heart. So don't worry about where is my speech, where was it written, who wrote it. No, because I want you to relate to all my personal circumstances. Because I may stand here in front of you and you think, oh yeah, he comes from, I think most of you are trying to figure out, Adwera, which name is that? Which family is that in Kenya? Yeah? His dad used to be who? His brother was who? Or his cousin was who? How did he become to be who he is? Why is he standing in front of us? We ask all those questions, right? Don't we? What I would advise you, please stop asking those questions. I was exactly in the same shoes as yourself. And I can tell you for free, I went to a primary school in the village. And it's not far from here. You just need to continue on this Kisumu Busia road and you hit a place called Madea. I'm very sure you're more familiar with maybe Ugunja. if you come from this particular highway. And when you get there, just ask for a very tiny school called Sijimbo. You will never be able to relate to it. You probably will have to go to the gate and see for yourself which school I came from. And I used to run from our home, which is a place called Madea. It's about, I think, 3 or 4 kilometers away, to go to this school, barefoot, okay, to attend classes. All right? I had never seen in our school even top performers who have gone to Alliance School. You know, we just used to dream about them. So if you hear somebody comes from Maseno, like I'm here now, you'll be like, oh, wow, Maseno School. Oh, okay. Yeah? If you hear somebody comes from this school, you know, national school, or, you know, what they used to call, not county, but they were provincial schools. Yeah? You just, oh, yeah, I can also make it. Okay? But I went to this very noble school called Sijimbo Primary School. Okay? Barefoot, with nothing. And in fact, those days, I'm very sure here, your scholars, and we're told go for lunch. I'm sure, you know, Mr. George was saying, at least here they used to have, you know, plates, and you have a cup. You know, if you have a plate and a cup, what does that mean? There's food, right? Isn't it? You cannot carry a plate if there was no food being served, can you? So, there was food. But in our primary school, when it's lunchtime, if you hear the bell, it means it's lunchtime. Now, the question is, where is the lunch? The bell will ring, it's lunchtime, but there's no lunch being served anywhere. Okay? The closest we ever came to lunch was the packet of milk, which was maziwa ya Nyayo. That packet was very famous. Okay? That's the closest we ever came to lunch. Otherwise, when the bell rings, you have to run back home. Okay? So you go back to your home, because it's a day school, and then you check if your parents have cooked or if you're going to cook yourself. So I would run back home, 3 kilometers away, and get home. And you know, there are certain pictures that when you see them, you know you're in trouble. So first, you walk through the gate. And the home is very quiet. Very, very quiet. You hear the chicken somewhere. You don't hear anybody in this home. Then you approach the kitchen. And you see your famous dog. You know, the dog of the home sitting there where there's supposed to be fire. So the dog is sitting there wiggling its tail where there's supposed to be what? There's supposed to be what? Which means there is no lunch. Nobody cooked anything. And remember, your parents expect you to understand that they are where? In the shamba, toiling away. Okay? So there's no question of lunch there. So to cut a long story short, there was never lunch. There's nothing called lunch. I'm going for lunch. You went home, you looked at the environment, you saw how things are. So then you go to the nearby tree and you got some guavas there. You plucked a few, you ate a few of them. Then you went back and got this pot, which is the best way. You know, some of you do not know that there's a pot that actually acts like a fridge. Do you know that? How many know that? How many have seen that pot that acts like a fridge? It cools water so perfectly, right? To a certain temperature. So when you get home, you go to that pot and draw some water, you drink it, get some guavas, and then go back running. Yeah? And the bell rings again, and you are in class. And you don't complain. That's the life. So you're privileged to a certain extent that you're living in a time that is very different. And guess what? I made it from this school, under these circumstances, to join Maranda High School. Okay? Trust me, I didn't even know what Maranda is, so I didn't even know the direction. And one thing that happened, when I was told that I'm joining Maranda High School, I was very happy, but I didn't know where it is. So eventually, my brother and my sister, they managed to take me to where Maranda High School was in Bondo. Trust me, I looked at the list of the joiners. I was number 80 out of 120 that was selected to join Maranda High School. All right? I sat in the principal's office the whole day because they were looking for a uniform that could fit my waist. Do you know they never found any? They didn't find. There was no short that could fit my waist. They were wearing shorts, by the way. If you see them now in trousers, they were not wearing trousers. They were wearing shorts. So my waist was, I think, 21 inches, and the lowest they had gone was 24. So you can imagine they had to look for one that they had to reduce by 3 inches. Long story short, I joined Miranda High School, worked through this school diligently, and said, you know what, I was number 80 in the joining list into Miranda High School. I was the only one from the primary school that I was in that joined Miranda High School. And by the way, I was the only one that joined Miranda High School then was provincial. It wasn't national. Okay? That joined a provincial school. Number 80. Long story short, I was number 1 in Miranda from the day I joined to the day I left. Go to Miranda High School, class of 1993. I am the top student. And by the way, now it's time for me to brag. Mr. George, in my year, we were the first cohort of Miranda examination class that beat Maseno School. Okay, but I will come to that. It is not about the performance. There are certain things that I would want to cover in that please hold on that thought for a moment. So, quickly forward. I've been from Miranda, I went to Moi University. So yes, I schooled just in Moi University. I was still top actually in my university degree. I am an ICT expert, okay? I did not know anybody, but by luck those days, I finished the university. I read a nation newspaper and they were asking for management trainees for East African industries then. Okay, so I applied, I went through the assessment and all these courses and everything else, and I got selected to actually join a management trainee course in East African industry, which then later transformed into Unilever. And by luck, I can tell you, God works in miraculous ways. Please trust in the process. Believe in your abilities. And I'm going to cover something. Always stand out. Because nobody will tell you here. Right now, you are the luckiest person to be here. Form 3, Form 4, life is good. You'll go to university, the support will still be coming forth. After that, you are on your own. Okay? And I can tell you one thing. This is the foundation. This is where the formation happens. At this point is where you form the character. And I heard the speakers, like the Director of Education, talk about these things. You know? The character is everything. Okay? You imagine what you want to be now, not then. Or not in future. Isn't it? And I'm sure some of you are saying, wacha ongea, alafu tumalize. You know, you are in a generation, yeah? Ambapo, when we finish here, the kind of greetings we get is like, Buda ni aje, leo tunaendaje, ama. Come on. I know in this group, we cannot miss 5 or 6 TikTokers that are famous. Can we miss? Can we miss? Can we miss? Yes. So you can live in TikTok and say, bana, huyu jamaa anabonga nini bana? Watu wanapata pesa kwa TikTok bana. Hata YouTube bana. Isn't it? Yeah? So some of you will live in an attempt to do what? They live in an attempt to create an account where they're saying, unaona Equity Bank walikuwa naongea tu. Hii pesa yangu ni ya lunch peke yake. Hii hapa. You try to show the money, isn't it? Because you are living in a very difficult circumstances where it's very difficult for you to know what is real and what's not real. True or false? Yeah? True or false? You see people very successful. And that's why I don't want to stand here and tell you, oh, it is the secret of success. No. I'm going to be very brutal, honest with you. You are in formation years. You have got the opportunity. I can tell you, you can look at your left, and that's why I said you look at your left, look at your right. In 10 years to come, some of you will be featuring in the same, internal newspaper that I've just seen for Equity, saying from this village to Wall Street. Yeah, some of you will be saying greatest accountant, yeah, in Arizona. Yeah, but some of you, not all of us are going to be successful. Let's be honest, isn't it? So there must be something that's going to happen in between now and the 10 years to come that's going to differentiate who you become and what eventually happens to you. And you have to know it today. You have to know it now, so that when it happens or when things happen to you, you can able to see and say, okay, that's leading me there. This is leading me here. These are the choices that I have to make. These are choices that I say no to. Are we together? Are we together? Are we together? So, a long story short, I know I've been introduced as a business person, but I can tell you, I've never been a business person, so to speak. I spent 20 years of my life in corporate. Okay? And I'm one of those few people who, okay, I just left working for corporate a few years back. Not long, yeah? About 3-4 years back. I think so. About 3 years back that I left working for corporate. But I was in Unilever for close to 20 years. I've only worked for 2 companies, actually. Unilever and Vivo Energy, who are the licensee of Shell brand, the fuel that you see. Those are the only 2 companies I've worked for. And I had the privilege, working all these years for one company, to go around the entire world. I've covered Africa as the head of ICT in innovation. I've covered Middle East. I've covered Southeast Asia. Yeah, I've covered Europe. There is nowhere I have not been to. Okay? In very senior capacities. That actually one of Equity's very senior leader was both my colleague and became also my boss. Mr. Polycarp Igade was actually my colleague at some point in time and also became my boss at a certain point in time. So I'm very close to Equity, so to speak. Okay. But now let's dive a bit in terms of the things that I just want to leave you with. The things that I think are important. Okay? And I want you to just remember these things. You see, the theme for today or for this period was 3 things. You educate, right? Okay? You empower, and then leadership, isn't it? So I'm assuming education you've already been given. Nobody can take away that from you. And let nobody actually sit somewhere and tell you, by the way, you know what? You don't need education. See, Jamal business. Education is not needed. No, everybody is successful. Hey, they don't need education. And then you start giving some very good examples. Yeah? Like who? Like who? Huh? Huh? You start giving some very good examples, like Microsoft, isn't it? Okay? Like Mark Zuckerberg, isn't it? And say, you know what? Even him, he didn't do well in education, and he became to do this, he became to do this. You are forgetting some very pertinent things in character, which I just want to cover with you. So don't assume education is not important. You can just be a very good businessman, and you don't require education. That's a lie. That's the greatest lie that ever been told. Okay? Because if you're a business person, you can only grow your company to a certain level. After that, you can't even understand what your company is doing. Not any educational background. No. Even the best business people, if they did not have education, they grow later in life to try and acquire that little knowledge to allow them make very decisive, decisions. Are we together? So you require education, and you've been given that chance. So grasp that chance, take onto it, and ensure it works for you. But now, the differentiator, you remember I was talking about 10 years down the line? The 10 years down the line, what will differentiate you from the colleague sitting next to you is this empowerment part. How you get empowered will differentiate whether you become accountant, whether you become the greatest thug that there ever was, okay? And whether you become the greatest successful leader that there will be in future. This empowerment part, okay? So it's very important for you to understand a couple of things. And I do not want to really repeat, but these things really came out in the previous talks that were done by the leaders before me. And they were talking about a couple of things. Okay? Is that holistic? Yeah? the holistic growth, isn't it? But I just want to mention one thing here. When they talk about holistic, means your character, means what else? What else do you think? I want to challenge you that, you see, when people tell you do well in class, do well in this, do well in this, okay? The most important thing, this motivation, this self-drive cannot come from outside. I can tell you, the greatest of the leaders sitting here that worked with you for 2 days could have spent the entire 2 days with you explaining to you how to become the best leaders, and you will never be the best leaders. Why? Because it has to be innate. It has to come from inside. I can tell you, I run a business and somebody comes to me, an employee comes to me and say, boss, hey, leo. How many washasikia hiyo? Unamwambia ate mwalimu, si tupatie motivation bwana, tupatie morali kidogo. How many wanasemanga hivyo? I have a principle. If you say you want motivation, I will fire you. I cannot provide motivation. Can anybody provide motivation? Who here can provide motivation for somebody else? You see, if somebody is saying you've given them a job, you've been given opportunity to be what you want to be the best, isn't it? But you're asking somebody else to help you with what? Motivation. So that you do what exactly you're supposed to do in the first place. Are we together? Is anybody hearing me? If you ask for motivation, I believe, even if I was giving you that chance and opportunity, and you ask that, can I get, what more is motivation if you've been given the opportunity to be the best that you can be in your life? What more is motivation required? It has to come from inside you. So, remember this concept, can-do attitude. You must have an attitude which says, if you want to be the pilot, you're going to be the pilot. It has to start with you. If you want to be an accountant, it has to start with you. You must love maths. You cannot say, I want to be an accountant, but when you hear there's a maths teacher, you've already nicknamed him. Hey, lunch imefika. How? You already nicknamed the teacher, isn't it? You want to be an accountant. How is it going to happen? It can't happen, right? So the can-do attitude is key. You have to tell yourself, you have to motivate yourself. It has to be innate. It has to come from inside you. And then it becomes external. It will propel you. Are we together? But for you to motivate yourself, you must have self-confidence. And that's also the greatest thing that most people lack. Self-confidence. Okay? You must be unique. You must stand out. When people walk into the room, do they see you or do they see others? Yeah? Najua, you know, when you're a student, kuna ile tunasemanga backbenchers. Sindio? Yeah? Ukiona mtu, the lunch bell is about to ring. Nafikiri hata kama saa hizi pengine lunch is about to be served. Yeah? Na bado huyu chief guest anaongea, unaanza kusema leo. Yeah? Isn't it? In class you start saying, na sasa huyu kimbelembele ashabeba mkono juu. Ni maths, ashaanza kusema, mwalimu, can we give us another assignment ya maths? Can you add us to what? Huyu kimbelembele ana nini yani? Huyu anakuanga na nini? Please remember, there is nothing called kimbelembele. You have to give yourself a chance. And that's why you will see that the greatest leaders, I do not know of an organization that will give leadership to people who can talk. Iko. Is there an organization like that? I mean, talking means they cannot be able to communicate. And communication can be sign language, can be any language. But you will not get that opportunity if you cannot communicate. You will not get that opportunity if you cannot uniquely represent yourself. And that's why when you walk into a room, any form 4 or form 3, you will see that you walk into a room, there is 1 student, 2 students, 3 students that strikes you. You know, either by the questions they ask, either the engagement they give, the attention they give, and you'll say, oh, wamejibembeleza. Then 10 years down the line, you meet them in Wall Street and ask them, hey, how are you doing, Joe? Oh, I'm fine. Na wewe? Mimi nilikuwa nimekuja hapa Atlanta, nikamwambia kuna kajob hapo kafulani tu, you know, yeah? Lakini sasa kumeshikana, uko na 20 bob hapo hivyo. Eh? Do you have some $2 hapo? Nishikilie mfuko. That's what you'll be asking. The time the person was taking the opportunity, you didn't want it, isn't it? Because it was a bother. Are we together? If you want to be the best, It doesn't start later. It starts now. And I echo what the previous speakers had said. You make a conscious decision to be the best, and you start today. Are we together? And that's why I made you say the oath that you will not be in the business of disappointing Equity and its partners that have got the greatest faith in you to become who you want to be. Tuko pamoja? Tuko pamoja? And if that means missing the lunch, then so be it. Are we together? If it means sleeping late at 10 p.m. so that you can cover something that will be of eminent value to your exams, that you can be able to correct your grades, that you can be able to give yourself a chance to a better grade, then so be it. Are we together? Tuko pamoja? Now, you see, I talked about TikTok, and these things are very good, and I like the director of education. She painted a world that was very scary, isn't it? Yeah? That there will be robots serving, that, digital numbers, and potentially everything that you believe in will not be there, including the money. And some of you are like, vile napenda pesa yawa. Hey, hata pocket money haitakuwa. Some of you already started worried, pocket money. No. I want to echo what she was saying. She wasn't saying that these things will change or will make the world not to exist. There's fundamentally one thing she was trying to emphasize on, which is called transformation, which is called ability to adapt. Are we together? Because the world is very dynamic, because the situation is very volatile, because the environment is very unpredictable, one of the greatest characters that you should be able to pick, or attributes that you should be able to pick, is called adaptability. You should be able to transform yourself very quickly. So if the phones were being used today and there are no phones tomorrow, you are not worried, isn't it? Because you will easily transform and understand what is happening. Okay? If the robots come into question, then you are the best robot maker. Because you are able to adapt, and such is the nature also in business. In business, today we realize that the product that you are selling is gone. I can tell you, during my youth, we had to go to a studio and actually selfie. How many knew the selfie before? How many saw the selfies of your fathers and grandfathers, how it looked like? Wangapi waliona hiyo selfie? Ilikuwa ni ya Kodak. Nani waliona hiyo selfie? How many have seen it? You have to walk inside a booth, and inside that booth there is a curtain at the door. Then you have to sit down in a bench. Then you look straight into some camera here. Then you go like, bah! That was the selfie that you had. Then you go out there and print something. That is the photo you're taking home. Are we together? Now imagine today. Everybody has got the phone. They want to do the greatest selfies. They are doing their own videos, and they're all posting, and the internet is available. I can tell you, as head of ICT innovation, when I started working, okay, the computers that we're using during training, they were only black and white. It's called DOS. When we started working, the entire organization had only one computer with internet. So even the CEO had to line to be able to use the internet for that day. Nobody had it. Okay? And only the CEO had a phone, mobile phone, a very big one. And you had to apply, and your name had to be gazetted for you to be given a mobile phone with the Communication Authority of Kenya. So things have changed. But what's the difference? You must be able to adapt, and you must be able to transform. If you can do that, then you build what we call resilience, both in life and also in business and in whatever else that you are doing. You become what we call a great person at situational awareness. You know what's happening in your environment. You are able to adapt constructively, and you're able to still deliver consistently and sustainably. Tuko pamoja? I'm about to finish, don't worry. Now, you see, when people say that, greatest entrepreneurs and this and that and this and that, there's something that you must remember about entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs are dreamers. A business person is a dreamer. The person who created the bulb that you now enjoy here so much about the bulb, how many times did they try it out? How many times? Thousands of times, isn't it? Thousands of times. to just get one bulb to work. So you must remember that for you to succeed, you will have to accept that imminently, at a certain point in time in your life, you must fail. Are we together? So failure is not the end of the world, but failure is the ingredient that makes you a great person. You must fail, you must rise again, you must learn your lesson, and you must still be able to deliver on your vision. Tuko pamoja? Tuko pamoja? So when you fail, don't say, you know what, that exam was very hard, you know, huyu mwalimu anapenda tu kutuonea, ndio maana sasa tulianguka kila kitu, you know, hata mimi nimeambiwa nyumbani, I'm the greatest failure, kwa nini niko hapa, hata nimechaguliwa, mimi I already given up. Yeah, please give up. It does not work like that. You must fail, and you must fail so many times. And I am sure, greatest people, greatest success stories are built or generated out of a lot of failures. Okay? And I can tell you, all the businesses, for example, that George was mentioning that I'm involved in, I can tell you, behind it, there's quite a lot of failures. I was in timber business, I failed. I was in taxis, I failed. I was in matatu business here, in the road here, I failed. I saw the conductor taking all my money and leaving nothing to me. So I have seen it all. So if you're not ready to see failure, then you will never see success. That's the point. Are we together? So even in class, if the marks returned to you on that specific day did not really convince you as your true capability, then what you do is you learn from it, figure out what went wrong, and bounce back. So that you are always very consistent in terms of the focus. Never lose focus because you failed once or twice or 3 times. You can fail as many times as possible, as long as you are very clear in your focus. Are we together? So the greatest leadership, so if you come to leadership, the greatest leadership for me is what we call servant leadership. Servant leadership means, unaona, tumekaa hapa wote, tunasema how great and how big opportunities everyone has been accorded by Equity and its partners. How the community have accorded you these opportunities. But you see, people are quick to forget. When you become successful, wajua pesa ikiingia tu kidogo, when the money shows up in your pocket, some of you will forget the journey, the pain, the sacrifice that others and yourself had to make sure you live your dream. Are we together? And that is the greatest tragedy of the world. These are the leaders we need, who are the ones sitting here, yourselves, are the leaders of this great country and this great world. Must remember one thing, that you must embrace what we call servant leadership. You remain true to yourself. You remain empathetic to others. Not sympathetic. Empathetic, but not sympathetic. Are we together? And you remain true to the cause. That's the only way you can be really, really a great leader in this community and in the entire world. Be the example that you want the others to be. And if it so happens that at the end of your journey, you end up being a carpenter, then be the best carpenter there will ever be. If you end up being an accountant, be the best accountant that the world has ever produced. In other words, what I'm saying, the world does not need mediocrity. There are no mediocre leaders required. Okay? So when you're doing things decisively, ensure you are being the best in pursuing excellence. That's the only way you will make a difference in your community, and never forget where you've come from. Never forget the journey that you have traveled, because that is what will shape you for the entire of the rest of your lives. Are we together? So, as I come to a closing, I want to tell you one thing. Just like my story, just like every other stories that you've had, these stories can be great. Some stories can be very painful. Some stories are very emotional. I am very sure when the great leaders here were going around in various homes trying to select the scholars, some stories were very moving, isn't it? In fact, you had to cry first before you make that decision, because you're wondering, how is it possible that this person had to go through this much in these early stages of life? But the difference will be if the person who went through that particular journey understood what it took for them to be where they are today, either from 4 or from 3, and how much more they still need to put in to be the greatest leader that they have aspired to be, and that Equity and its partners have also decided to support you to be. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I want to wish you very well, and I want to wish you success, God's blessings, and I know you will truly make it if you believe. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I would request the scholars to be upstanding and give a hearty clap to our chief guest. We will do 5 factorial. I hope you are also conversant with that. Okay, to the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you, thank you. Is he a captain or not? Is he a captain or not? A captain indeed. We want to thank you. We want to celebrate you for your achievements, our chief guest. We want to celebrate you for your accolades. But today, more importantly, we want to celebrate you for sharing your wonderful story. We celebrate you, and may God bless you. Thank you very much. Now, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it's my humble duty now to invite, representing the group executive chairman for Equity Foundation and the group CEO of Equity Bank, Dr. James Mwangi, Equity Bank's Director of Women and Youth, Dr. Silpa Owich. A round of applause as she comes.
Great. You can hear me? You can hear me? All right. Wow. Chief guest, I don't know whether I should speak or I just sit down or we continue or... Anyway, that was powerful. To our chief guest, to the Director of Education, to my colleagues, to the guest of honors today, the scholars, how are you? I think it's good afternoon now, right? Wow, it's gonna be tough talking after that powerful speech, but I'll try and see whether I can match it. So I'm Dr. Silpa Owich. I was here last year. Those who I was here with,